massive purple lightning background to be awe-inspiring. And one of the fun things, I used to live in Phoenix, and in the what they call there the monsoon season. Now they don't bear resemblance to serious monsoons that they get in, the Indian Ocean and some of the places in Indonesia, but they still call them monsoons. And they are pretty rowdy. So sometimes the dust storms rise to the level of a haboob, which is the powerful term where you can't see in front of you at all. And, you have to get off the road and that sort of thing. And you can see it coming like a huge wall of brown. And when you see that, you need to get off the road like right now, because otherwise it's terrifying. And you can't see, and you'll drive into something or somebody or drive right off the road like you can't see past the end of your car. Anyway, one of the things during that season is extremely powerful lightning storms. So, like this behind you. There are times when I've seen some staggering, spectacular displays of lightning in the Phoenix area. And one day I was... I wanted to chase a storm. Now, I didn't ever become a serious storm chaser, but I did a little bit of it. And the storms would come in at a predictable time. It had to do with the circulation of air, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico coming up in and circling. And so anyway, they came in every afternoon in the time period from mid to end of July up through September, so about 60 days. And not every day, but sometimes they were as predictable as clockwork. And because I worked in the electric industry, seeing these kind of lightning storms, that was scary because then power was out and we had to send crews all over the place. And sometimes it would be in the midst of terrible rainstorms and hail and all that stuff. And so those afternoon shifts, when you were working afternoons running the power grid, that's what I did for several years. I ran the power grid. I was like in those control rooms that you see with all the computers and lights on the wall and all that other stuff. So I was in those kind of control rooms running the power grid. And so these kind of lightning storms would be, no, bad day. But I don't want to talk about lightning storms. I've just used that as a background. I want to talk about creating energy. Now, when you create a lightning storm, or when nature, God, through nature creates a lightning storm, certain things have to happen. So in those cases, warm, moist air would come up and it would circulate, in certain patterns. And then there would be the heat effect rising from the huge heat island that is the Phoenix area, because Phoenix, while it doesn't have anywhere near as many people as Los Angeles, is actually physically in miles bigger than the whole LA area because everything is so spread out. That means there's an infinite amount of asphalt and concrete, and the heat island effect is huge. And that causes now even variations in the storm pattern. Anyway, I'm not a meteorological expert. But certain things have to happen for these thunderstorms and all this lightning to take place. Now, the lightning, or the energy contained in a big bolt of lightning, is staggering. The number of zillions of joules of energy and watts and, megawatts, gigawatts, terawatts. I have figured it out once and looked it up. But that isn't even the point either. Here is the point. The point is certain things have to happen. When they happen, tremendous energy is built up in the electrostatic difference between the cloud and the earth, and then lightning strikes to alleviate that difference between positive and negative charges. Learning about electricity and lightning isn't the point. Here is the point again. Certain conditions happen, and when those conditions happen, that energy is built up. So creating energy for you and for me is exactly the same. If you want to create energy, you have to create certain conditions. Certain things have to happen in the body and in the spirit, in order for energy to be there. So I was listening to someone talk about lack of energy or not having it, enough of it, and here's the truth. You can create energy anytime you want on demand in any quantity you want. And you do it by creating that set of circumstances, just like nature creates every afternoon in Phoenix during that season of the year. So let's talk about different kinds of energy and how to create it personally. Because if you're going to create a difference in the world, remember, my road to 50 million is about helping 50 million of you create the income and the impact you want. Some people want income and, impact. Some people want income and impact, and some people want both. And whatever your formula is, you can have it. There's nothing preventing except you from having both the income and impact you want, using your divine gift. So my 50 million is simply stated, by October 14th, 2023, I'm going to help 50 million people discover and serve with their divine gifts to create the income and impact they want. That's my mission. That's why I'm doing these. That's why I'm reaching out to you right here, right now, to give you the opportunity to learn about it. And more importantly than learn about it is to do it. Because without execution, nothing happens. I can know all about the weather conditions that need to happen in order for these huge storms to happen, but if they don't actually happen, if there's no action, there's no lightning. It's an idea. So that's the same that happens with us. Now, the physical piece of energy is not difficult to understand. There is nutrition, there is sleep, there are things that happen in the body. Is there illness? Is there infection? All of those things are the physiological things. And you might have, low iron. I had a physical the other day, and my iron measurement for the first time in my life was down below normal. And so we're doing some things to change the iron level. But that action is what we're taking to cause the iron to change. Okay, so if you want physical energy, if your physical body is not feeling energetic at any given time, then here are the things to look at. How is your sleep? Tons of literature on that. Get ready for bed and go to bed at a regular time. Watch the lighting, watch the temperature, watch what you consume in the last 2 or 3 hours. Watch what you watch on television or videos or listen to. All of those things affect the chemical balance in your bloodstream, specifically melatonin and all of its derivatives, and there's a ton of those. All of those are affected by your diet, your exercise, when you eat, how you eat, regular sleep schedule, and all of that stuff. What we often do is we want to pretend, well, I can binge watch this and stay up late and I'll sleep in the morning, or maybe I'll just skip by with a little sleep. You might do that, but I can promise you over time, those things accumulate and they result in lack of energy. They result in lack of power physically. Now, there are other things. There was a time in my life when I was quite overweight. When that happened, I didn't have energy. No surprise, I was out of shape. My aerobic capacity was diminished. So creating energy to do things was difficult. I noticed that. I had very young children then. I thought, I'm not going to be this person. So I set out for an entire year to physically change all that. I enrolled again. It was the severalth, I know that's not a word, the severalth time in a local martial arts studio and attended rigorously for 2 or 3 years. Finished a black belt and went on and did some other things, did some competitions. But I lost 90 pounds in the process and got in shape. My aerobic capacity was phenomenal, went off the charts, etc. But it took that action to restore the physical part. Okay, so, and then I'm not trying to be an exercise expert or a nutrition expert with any of this advice. What I am telling you is the information's available. Most people lie to themselves about how good a shape they are or aren't in. They lie to themselves about what they're consuming and how they're treating their body. They lie to themselves about their weight or their physical capacity and about their sleep routines and about what they're putting into the physical part. You have to tell the truth. Maybe you need to get some help. I did. I used a martial arts studio and paid some good money to go belong there, took some of the kids. We made a family thing out of it and really got involved. And it worked. Fabulous. Got in shape, earned some awards, eventually got a certificate to open my own dojo and everything else. Okay, fine. That's only the first part. The second part is the mental or spiritual part. Now, mental and spiritual, you can do them separately, but I'm going to lump them together right now because there's the other piece of us. There's the physical piece, and then there's the energetic or spiritual piece. That is, I don't feel good. I'm depressed. I'm not good enough. I can't make enough money. I'm panicked about my finances. What will people think of me? What are they thinking of me? Oh, I might lose my job. That whole panoply of worries, uptightness, negative self-talk, confirmation bias, where you believe negative stuff about yourself. And so then, of course, that's what you find in the world. Filling your mind, or me filling mine, with negative news and negative, all of the cancel universe, negative stuff. Can't, won't, pessimistic, broken, bad. All of that does the same to your spirit and mind that the physical piece does to the body. If you want to take care of that and improve it, you can do it really gradually by changing a tiny thing at a time, or you can honestly take stock of how you're treating yourself spiritually. Do you love yourself? How do I know that? What kinds of activities would I see if I watched you all day long for a week? What things would I see you engage in that really would tell me this is a person who really honors and loves themselves? Would I see that? I don't know, right? That would be the question. And so knowing, do I love myself? Am I showing it? Am I treating myself like I have a bunch of obligations? Is my attitude negative? And it's not as simple as someone saying, well, fix your attitude. Our attitude is a collection of beliefs that we have about life. So if I believe, or you do, and I have done this, that I got a raw deal, everything's working against me, it'll never work, I can't do this, I hope they never find out, whoever they is, I hope they never find out who I really am, and because they won't like me, and I'll lose prestige or status, or maybe even my job. People knew the deep secrets. All of those kinds of things are part of our attitude. It's the collection of things we believe that gives us our energetic stance, is what I call it. And I probably use the word stance because of martial arts. There's stances of real power. There's defensive stances, offensive stances, and so our energetic stance determines how much energy we have. The good news is, I don't care what your energetic stance is right now, you can fix it. And you go about it the same way I just talked about fixing your physical stance in the world. And I know this from experience too, because if you've read Tightrope of Depression, one of the books that I wrote, you'll know that my energetic stance was horrible for decades. It caused addictions and broken relationships and huge failures and sadness. When I set out on a journey to repair and then to completely elevate my energetic stance, things went crazy in a good way. Since that change, which happened in 2007, I've written, 18 books, and I'm in the middle of 2 more right now, with 4 more on the drawing board for the next 2 or 3 years. And a whole series of stuff after that. Those things didn't happen accidentally. They came because I, in a disciplined way, looked at my energy, my beliefs. What do I believe about myself? Starting with, do I love myself? Starting also next with, can I forgive myself and others? There are mistakes that happen. There are willful unkindnesses and even cruelties that happen in the world, maybe in your life. When we choose to hold on to those, either in anger towards someone else for what they've done, or in bitterness or frustration or self-loathing toward ourselves, and I've done both of those, that is like feeding your body poison. It's feeding your spirit poison. You can't have energy if you don't love yourself and if you're not practicing things like forgiveness intentionally every day. Why? So that your plate stays clear, your energetic plate stays clear. There's an infinite amount of energy in the universe. We know that, right? In physics, there is. The vacuum of space is full of infinite energy. We now know that. It was there before, we just didn't know about it. Now we do. Spiritual energy or soul energy or the energy in your heart is exactly the same. There's an infinite amount of it. How much are you taking advantage of that? So I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to take advantage of it. What I can share with you is what I did and what I still do. So I practice meditation every day. I follow the breath. John Kabat-Zinn talks a lot about that if you like his books. I've written 5 books on meditation. So spending time being still and just following the breath in and out, experiencing what it's like to be human. What that does, why that works, is it calms the mind down and turns off the monkey mind, where we're busy worrying about what's coming or fretting about what's been. Things that were not exactly like we wanted in the past, or we're panicked about what's coming. This is going to fail. I won't get that. Or so-and-so's mad at, so-and-so's mad at me. It won't work. All of that energy is a giant suck on your power. So just like with physical things, it takes a choice to say, you know what? I don't have the energy that I want. And now I'm talking spiritually or in your soul, energetically. Motivation is another way to think of that. Physics, the physical part's the same. I don't have what I want, so I'm going to answer some questions honestly. Where am I right now? How much negativity do I consume? What is my internal self-talk? Is it positive? Is it negative? Do I berate myself? Do I compare myself with others? Am I lamenting about lost time and I'll never make up for... what is the style of language? How optimistic am I? How hopeful am I? How much do I have a powerful vision of the future? So that's dealing with a little bit with past and future. But the next question is, how much am I able to live in this present moment? Like enjoy this moment right here, right now, whatever it is. Or how much of the time do I spend this moment frustrated about something that didn't happen or worried about something that's coming? We can't do anything in the past or the future. We can only do it right now. And so first is just answering the question, where am I? And that's taking a complete inventory of my energetic inputs, negative stuff from outside and negative stuff from inside. Self-talk, worrying about the opinions of others. Your physical and spiritual are obviously interrelated. If you don't get any sleep and your sleep is in trouble, or your nutrition's way off, or your metabolism is off, or your weight is way off, all those kinds of things can and do affect the spiritual side. And likewise, if you are negative about yourself and your self-talk, then that negative energy affects your body. You're more tired. You want to sleep more. It's hard to get up. It can lead to depression a little bit or a lot, clinical depression, or you don't want to do anything, or you have no motivation, etc. But none of those things are permanent. They're only permanent when we let them be. So discovering through talking to, if it's a physical side thing, somebody that works in that area, or a spiritual or energetic side thing, mindset. It's called all kinds of things. Attitude, mindset, all of those things create our stance in the world, how much we believe we can do, what we believe we're capable of. And taking stock of where we are, who we're being right now. I'm being a person who believes I can't do this and I won't do that and this won't work and this will fail. If I'm being that, then that will be the outcome I create. If I'm being, on the other hand, you know what? I'm not where I want to be right this minute, but I love where I am, and I am committed to taking steps, even little ones today, that move me in a direction. I'm going to learn to meditate. I'm going to go to bed on time. Whatever on time means, I'm going to turn off the negative input. I'm going to go to work on my self-talk, what I believe about myself. Because you know what the truth is? The truth is you're a divine being. The truth is you're capable of anything you want to create. The truth is you're a powerful creator. You can beat that to death until it doesn't have any impact in your life if you want, and many do. But you can also rekindle that flame. You can also build it up and make it produce both purpose, prosperity, and all of that in a basket of joy. So you can live every day with purpose, creating all the prosperity you want, and living in a basket of joy. That's available to you. But it isn't going to come from Amazon in a box. It's going to come when you decide, same thing I had to do, I'm done with what I'm doing. I'm going to get the help I need to make some changes. I'm going to get to a place where I love my life every day. I'm doing exactly what I want, and I'm having fun. Those places are possible. And it isn't possible in a short video like this to give you answers, because that would assume one size fits all, and it never does. But there are some common things. If you want to create energy, start with loving yourself. Start with loving your spirit. Start with loving your heart. Start with loving your body. Start with loving your mind. Start with accepting yourself, who you are, where you are. You don't have to stay there. Like, I made a boatload of mistakes. And if you've read Tightrope of Depression, then you know. And even from that dark place of attempted suicide and everything else, today, 15 years later, I am on fire. I love my life every second, every day, every breath. And I have more fun than I ever thought in any universe I could possibly have. So the path from not enough energy, physically or spiritually, is known, and it is available to you. Step one is to love yourself enough to make a declaration that you're going to walk the path, to discover, develop, and serve with your divine gifts, and to be the light that you can be with your divine self in the world. We'll see you tomorrow on the road to 50 million.